so angry about this president, and it makes me really feel that he has made this country small. When President Trump demonizes refugees and demonizes immigrants, he's punching down. He's really trying to hurt the most vulnerable. And not only is that bullying, but it is a sign of grave weakness. We've been a big country. We welcome immigrants in our best moments in our history. The Statue of Liberty stands in New York Harbor for a reason. She has that Emma Lazarus poem, send us your tired and send us your poor, send us your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. That's who we are. And our country, in many parts of our history, was built by immigrants. So much of what we have was part of our immigrant heritage and our immigrant history. So I think it's contrary to who we are as Americans and our American story. And I would do a couple of things very differently. First, I would support comprehensive immigration reform with a path to citizenship. And we had a bipartisan bill that was a 10-year path that people seeking to become citizens would start paying their taxes for 10 years. They'd pay into Social Security for 10 years. They'd pay their local property taxes to pay for the school budgets for 10 years. And then, if everything went right, they'd get to become citizens. And that alone was an investment in our economy of billions and billions of dollars. It makes sense so that people who are already part of our community, who are part of our whether it's part of our businesses, serving in our military, in our schools, that they had an actual path so they could have certainty of how they become in full document status, fully documented. Second, I can't stand what he's doing at the border. I think it's immoral. I truly think it's immoral. I visited those places. There was one facility run by DHS. It was an abandoned Walmart. And for you boys, I want you to think of yourselves for a minute. This was a facility where it was boys 10 through 17. My Henry's 10 and Theo's 15. You boys are 17 and 18. So you'd be in that facility. In fact, actually, the day you turn 18, ICE would come remove you and actually send you home. But let's say you're still 17. The bedrooms, everyone's bed is made, and they're all exactly the same. It looks like a prison. It looks like a prison. No personal effects. When you walk outside your bedroom, you're walking in a straight line. When you're there with your brother, and your brother hurt himself on the playground, you can't help him, you can't pick him up, you can't hug him, you can't touch anybody. And now imagine this. I asked one little boy, I wasn't allowed to talk to them, but I snuck a couple conversations, and I said, so what's your favorite time of the day? And the boy said, outside time. I said, how much time do you get to be outside? 2 hours a day. Now imagine being in a Walmart, an abandoned Walmart, with no windows, for 22 hours a day. Over air conditioned, afraid, frightened, not able to talk to people and be with the people you love for untold amounts of time. That's what's happening to little kids. In the other facility, it was run by a for-profit prison system, GEO, and they were locking up moms and children. And they give me a tour and they say, oh, and here's the pay phones that people can call their lawyers or their families. I said, yeah, but they're pay phones. What happens if they don't have money? And they said, oh, well, they can work. I was like, really? What can they do? They're like, oh, they can do custodial work. I said, how much do you pay them? $2 a day. So that sounds like a prison to me. And you think this facility seems, perfectly nice. There was a chapel service, so I went in and I wanted to go see who was in the chapel. I saw two women on their knees with tears streaming down their eyes, down their faces. Those women were in deep trauma. They didn't feel safe. They didn't feel comfortable. They were probably deeply frightened. So that's the truth of what's happening at our border, and I think it's immoral. So I do two things. One, I would make sure we have real immigration judges, which you don't have right now. Those judges are appointed by the Attorney General. If the Attorney General doesn't believe in asylum, good luck. Second, I would have lawyers appointed so that actually when you do seek asylum and you believe you have a valid case for asylum, they assign a lawyer. And you can go into the community, go be with family members, whoever you have there, and if you have a lawyer, you're going to show up to your court date because a lawyer will explain to you what's happening and why your court date's so important and what the asylum system's actually like, so you have a chance of becoming a citizen of this country. They just need to know. And if they don't know, they don't know. And so I believe if we did it that way, we would have a far more wholesome process. And then I guess the last thing you have to say is, why are so many people coming here? And you need to look at what's happening abroad. And it's from all over the world, but I gotta tell you one very frightening story. when I took a number of senators to see and learn about what was happening in Syria during the war and with the refugee crisis, we went to a place in Turkey. We went to Turkey and Jordan. We went to one of the tent camps in Turkey. And we had a meeting with the mothers, and they came in and they looked me in the eye with not tears of sadness, but tears of anger. And they looked me straight in the eye and they said, "You are so afraid of Osama bin Laden. Because you turn a blind eye here, we are creating thousands every day." So when you don't care about suffering worldwide, it comes back to us. And we are strong, and we are the most powerful country in the world. We can do more to alleviate suffering, and we should.
We'll do one more question.